Hi everyone, I am Bhumi, founder and CEO at Interim Market and BZ Consultants. My experience is mainly in HR and recruitment, working with technology, people and processes. And today's topic is all about portfolio careers and whether it is possible for contractors, interims, and simply just the workforce of today and tomorrow. So to discuss this really exciting topic, I have with me Steve Preston, who is the author of the book Portfolio Careers, and Jo Lockwood, who is living the dream. So guys, I know I haven't done the best, in introducing yourselves. So Steve, would you mind going first, and then Jo, just introduce yourselves to our viewers.
Well, very quick introduction. Thanks, Bhumi. As I say on my LinkedIn profile, I wear two hats. I'm managing director of my own company, S&P Solutions Career and People Development Limited, where we specialise in outplacement, career transition, and proactive coaching for companies. And then my other hat, which is probably become the bigger hat, is in my own right as Steve Preston, the Career Catalyst, now internationally acclaimed author, speaker and leading career coach, particularly specialising in career change and my great passion, developing portfolio careers.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Steve. Jo, give us an intro on you. You do so much already. You're living the dream.
What do I do? Let me try and chop my portfolio up into bits. So I keynote speak, I attend conferences, I will sit on panels, I will be the host or be a panelist, run plenary sessions, workshops, breakouts, happy to do all that. Network, be in the audience, challenge people. That's kind of the conferences sort of side, but I run seminars, I run workshops on my own right, either standalone as me holding them, or in-house with somebody. I'll go and do a day's training with somebody, run an interactive workshop. I also do a lot of blog articles. I guest blog. Well, I made a decision actually. I could either start my own blog and then try and promote it, or I could just find everybody else in the world that's doing blogs and wanted someone to come and blog with them and just join in. So I do lots of podcasts that way, video casts like this. So if you look at my website, I've got hours of footage of audio, video of me just being a guest on someone else's show. Because I'm a great believer in personal brand, getting your name out there, getting the momentum, creating this persona, becoming an authority. Because I've chosen not to write a book, whether it's the way my brain works. I'm not a book reader. I read blogs, I read articles online, but I've never been into books. So I don't value a book as being something that I would ever read. Therefore, I don't see the value in writing a book for somebody else. Which is strange, I know, but I've decided to be a published authority, a published author in a different way, through social media, through blog articles, through videos, through podcasting. And I use that as my primary driver for attraction of opportunity, basically.
Absolutely, yeah. So what I wanted to ask, I think one of you have a speaker on, so I might be hearing myself, but that's okay. It will help itself. So Jo, you're a D&I consultant, as well as a speaker and an author and everything else you do.
Yes.
As part of your main role. And
I call myself a virtual chief diversity officer. So in the same way you have virtual finance directors, virtual XYZs, I'm a virtual chief diversity officer, VCDO, or virtual HR consultant, whatever you want to call me. So I recognise that one of the biggest challenges in the D&I space is knowing where to start. Often it's HR professionals that are suddenly thrown into the D&I pond saying to swim, get on with it. And they don't know where to start. So I'm here to be their mentor, their coach, their virtual assistant to come and say, look, it's not that big a deal. Let's sit down and look at my 10-step program through this. We can come up with a workable solution for it. So that's kind of my consultancy advisory sort of arm of what I do.
Yeah, perfect. And Steve, you on the other hand support with career transitions, career change to organizations and businesses and teams, as well as individuals, right? Going through redundancies and needing career. Yeah.
But more and more, I would say, Bhumi, more and more now. It's interesting that the word you use, challenging, people challenging their thinking about what they can do with their career and their lives moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't do career coaching and all of this, but because being from HR background and being a career counselor and all of that, I often get asked by people. And so I'm going to put this question out to you, Jo, first, is how is it living this dream? And is it really possible for anyone who's thinking about, dipping themselves into a portfolio career? So let's say they do 2 days of this gig and 1 day of that gig, and then rest of the 2 days play golf. Is it really possible to build a portfolio career by anyone? Practically.
It is. The way I try and talk about it to people is you can work 20 days a month at £200 a day, or you can work 4 days a month, or you can work 1 day a month. You've just got to change your charge rate. So if you can become good at what you do, work out your portfolio rate, value yourself, and make yourself respectfully expensive or respectfully good value for money. So instead of having to work 20 hours a month, you can cover your overheads on 3 or 4 good days worth of consultancy. That gives you 15 odd days per month to network, to work on it, to grow, to look for other opportunities. So you can't expect to live in a gig portfolio career without having time to invest in your own CPD, your own learning, and your own marketing, and your own sales. You've got to be an entrepreneur. So you can't expect to bill every day. So you got to think, $250 a day doesn't help me live. So I need to be doing 500, 1,000, 2,000 pounds a day, whatever you can get, and do less days to give yourself time in the month to do other things.
Yeah.
Or to be opportunistic. If something comes up, you go, yeah, I'll give that a go. Not say yes to everything, but say yes as your default and then explore the option. Why shouldn't I do that? Why not? Someone says to me the other week, do you want to come to the Ukraine and talk in the Ukraine? I went, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
But because I had space in my diary, space in my calendar, I wasn't trying to max myself out every month. It means I can be opportunistic. I think if you're going to take a portfolio career, take a gig mentality, you've got to have time in your diary, time in your life to be able to seize opportunities, because suddenly you end up doing something completely different you weren't expecting, and you pivot on the fly and just take advantage of that opportunity.
Absolutely. And so, Steve, based on that, if someone's a permanent employee right now, working Monday to Friday, 9 to 6, doing the drag, and they obviously want to dip in this, but they can't physically quit a job, what would you advise an individual like that? Like, take a leap of faith and do something else and quit your job? Or how would you go about practically helping someone make that transition?
Great question, Bhumi. And I have a hot off the press live example. This is an ex-client of mine who contacted me literally a couple of days ago just to update me on their situation. And they tried to develop a portfolio career purely around the self-employed aspects a couple of years or so ago after I'd been working with them. And they were sort of successful, but they, taking Jo's point, they needed a minimum amount of money, which they weren't getting in. So what they did, they reverted back to trying to find employment of some sort, ideally a part-time role, which would then fund their other activities. In the portfolio book and in the portfolio world, it's what we call anchor income, basically, having something which will basically fund the rest of your work so that you can do more creative stuff and so on. But what's happened now is things have evolved. She's actually got a full-time job, Bhumi. However, it's a full-time job with very flexible working arrangements, which gives her the opportunity to do she does a bit of confidence coaching, and she also does a bit of mediation. And she's now got her own confidence and the ability to do that because of this sort of structure of regular income coming in. So she's a great live example of people tend to call it a side hustle now, don't they? Yeah. So she's got a full-time PAYE job, but she's got a couple of side hustles on the go. But equally, because of going down the portfolio route in the first place and focusing on doing work she loves, the job she's got as well is something she actually loves too. So she's working in the charity sector for a charity she has a real affinity with. So it's a win-win situation. But then conversely, I've got another client who's just escaped the rat race. He's taken redundancy from a really high-level executive role. He was expat working out in the Gulf and has come back to the UK. And we worked together through his career transition program, and he's completely reevaluated what he wants to do. He doesn't want to go back in the corporate world. However, what he is doing is using that knowledge and experience that he gained after all these years in a consultancy field, self-employed, alongside some other passions he's now developed, particularly around property development. Right. But again, taking Jo's point, the sort of combination of what he does actually allows him quite a lot of free time and time to both develop his business, market himself, and also work on other strands that he wants to bring into his portfolio later on. So my answer now would be, having sort of been involved in portfolio career development for 15 years or so, Bhumi, is there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's not one definite way to go about developing a portfolio career. I think it depends on your financial situation. It depends on probably your personal situation as well. And I think it very much depends on your mindset. And like I said earlier, if your mindset is one of, within my working week, I want to allow myself time to exercise for my own well-being and play a bit of tennis like I do, then you schedule that in. Yeah. And you build other stuff around it. So
absolutely.
Does that answer the question?
Absolutely. And I couldn't agree more. It's a lot about mindset more than having the time. So mostly when I hear someone say, I don't have time, I want to say, you don't have time, or is it not a priority? Like, as soon as you put that in, it sort of shifts that conversation. But then, Jo, based on what Steve said, what are the absolute tricks and tips for someone who wanted to have that anchor income because they can't afford not to be paying themselves or getting paid, but also still want to do that? So they have the mindset, they have the will, but they absolutely need the anchor income, especially if they're the main breadwinner.
Yeah, as Steve said, that is the challenge. You can't just jump off and expect gold to flow your way, because that's not real. You need to have some way of paying the mortgage, keeping your bills coming in. Yeah. If you get made redundant, you get a lump sum. I was fortunate enough, my business partners bought me out of my business, so I had a large lump sum payout, which kept me going for 2 years. That allowed me the opportunity to not need to earn anything for almost 2 years. So that's a luxury most people don't have unless you've been made redundant. Maybe there's options where you could seek opportunities for going part-time, do a 3-day week, even if you just go to a 4-day week. Working out your real, I have to earn, I don't know, I have to bring home 2K a month. But I'm currently bringing in 2.8. I can afford to lose 800. And that also makes you hungry. It focuses your mind. Yeah. If you're comfortable, you're never going to get out of your comfort zone. So you need to stretch yourself. You need to put yourself in the zone where you have to go and do something.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jo. I mean, I've worked with a number of clients over the years where we decided the strategy was exactly that they reduced from 5-day working, 5-day week working even, down to 3 or 4 days. And in the extra days, they developed their portfolio strands, which were completely different alongside that.
Yeah. But I think the other thing to think about is you need to be flexible in your own approach to work. You can't have this 9-to-5 mentality. You have to be, as I said earlier, you have to be opportunistic. So if I get up at 7 in the morning, I'll spend an hour on my phone in bed, because that's my office. First thing in the morning, my bed is my office. I have my phone. I do social media posting. I go around, I like, comment, I read blogs, I do all that sort of thing. And then at 8 o'clock, when the house is quiet, I go and have some breakfast, have a shower, then I drive into my co-working space, and I do something else. So I chunk my day into bits.
Yeah.
And if I decide that I want to go and have coffee or have lunch with somebody, I do that. And I have no guilt about it, because I know that today I have planned a bit of blogging, a bit of this, a bit of that, and this evening I'll do a bit of the other. And as long as I'm not squandering my time resource, and I'm doing it deliberately, and I'm doing it with some sort of strategy, it's fine. I allow myself to live that life. So my portfolio, my gigging allows me to have that flexibility of working. I know that I've got X days of income between now and the end of 3 months' time. So I try and create a 3-month horizon. So I can see that I'm covered for 3 months. If I'm covered for 3 months, I can cover myself another month, another month, another month. So I've got the confidence in myself to be able to generate a month's worth of income when I need to. So that's the kind of momentum you want to build out. So you can build a pattern. So if you look backwards and say, in the last 6 to 8 months, I've managed this. So if I keep doing what I'm doing, I should better do it again.
Yeah.
And just becoming, not as brave is one word, but confident evidence that you're doing the right thing. And then when you start seeing that pipeline or forward projection dropping off, then you need to sit there and say, right, what do I need to do? Am I eating too much coffee? Am I playing too much golf? Am I playing too much tennis? Right, I need to spend this week, and then really focus on it again right now. So it's a business. You have to treat it as a business. As an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to self-manage, self-start, self-market, all the things that your company used to do for you, pay you, health and safety, all the professional development, all the nicey stuff. You have to take personal responsibility, and that's the key. Taking responsibility for your own life and income.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that is, again, so important as a mindset, but also realistic as a goal setting perspective. So you give yourself 3 to 6 months to say, right, I can survive on X amount of income because I need income, but I'm going to reduce a day of work, negotiate with your employers or whatever. And this is me literally sort of translating this in a simplistic manner for anyone that wants a quick answer to this, to say, reduce it, negotiate it, and then really become self-disciplined and self-oriented, right? And give yourself 3 months or 6 months, but then really measure yourself. Don't be like, I'll get on it next weekend, sort of, right? Because that's what usually means that people that don't end up having a successful portfolio career or transition is usually people that are not responsible, or they don't take that responsibility.
I think you also need to think about what do you mean by a portfolio career? If you're not careful, you could work with one person on a Monday, one person on a Tuesday, one person on a Wednesday, but you're working every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just with a different person every day of the week. To me, that is kind of like serial contracting or something. So what I mean by portfolio career is you're basically in charge of your own diary. You look at your diary and say, oh, you need a day off me next week. Okay, I could do Tuesday. And so my diary is dictated by me and my lifestyle. And I negotiate with my clients what works. Or I say, well, actually, I want to do that. I will do that. I could rearrange my diary to make that happen. But I think if people are looking for sort of a 2 days here, 2 days here, 2 days here, that's kind of like a full-time job, really, with just working for different people. So
I hear what you're saying, Joe, but as I said, there's no one size fits all.
No, completely.
Some people actually thrive on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people who have a portfolio career where they have about three part-time jobs as such, but they're all different. But they're given, the key thing with a portfolio career in general, which I especially cover in the book, and I'm sure you'd agree with this, Joe, it's about variety, it's about freedom, if you like, but it's also the big C word, it's about choice. It's your choice. And if you want to choose to work on Tuesday because somebody comes along and offers you an opportunity, then great. If you decide, well, you know what, next Tuesday I want to take the day off and do something else, fine. But equally, in fact, I was on the tip of my tongue and then it sort of went away. I think you mentioned the word guilt. That is one of the biggest challenges that people have who lead this portfolio lifestyle, as I call it. And there's a good example in my book about the guy who he basically he's a comic writer. He's a financial administrator, for want of a better term, for a consultancy, and he's a triathlete. An interesting blend. And he says in the book that when I interviewed him about it, he said, Steve, it's terrible. After all these years and having done it for so long now, I still have feelings of guilt that I might be out training, swimming or cycling, or all the triathlete disciplines, and thinking I should be working. All my friends are out there working. And then equally, he said I could wake up Sunday morning and suddenly have the most creative burst of energy and then spend all day Sunday writing creative comedy. So he says, you know, that is still for him a big challenge. And it is mindset again. But unfortunately, it's not, it's the conditioning by other people, isn't it?
Oh, completely. And as you're saying that, I could hear my partner in my ear going, I'm going to work. I've got to be there at 8. I've got to come home at 5. And I've got to do this. I've got my hour for lunch. It's all right for you drinking coffee with your friends and do whatever you want, swimming around the country. I mean, yeah, but that's how I work. I work differently to you. I don't have to be in a rigid timescale. The fact that I choose this and this way of working.
Yeah.
But people around you judge you as it's not saying you're lazy, but you have they can't handle you not having a structure or a rules. That's a challenge.
I actually find that people with portfolio careers or flexible careers are a lot more structured, a lot more organized. Yeah. And the one thing that helps them win is the fact that they know what they're doing. They're adding value. Look, no one's going to pay me $1,000 a day or you guys $1,000 a day if you weren't really adding value. So that is also very key, right, Steve? So, Steve and Jo, so if someone was literally in an admin position wanting to build a portfolio career out of becoming a PA, absolutely fine. We share a PA right now, Jo, and she does that. She absolutely built that as adding value to our time. So I think it's about adding value as much as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's interesting because the other thing with the portfolio career concept, Bhumika and Jo, and again, I'm sure you've both seen this, it's quite amazing how people's portfolio careers can evolve. You know, you start down one road doing maybe a couple of different things, and then all of a sudden, by quirk of fate or whatever you believe, things might change. And another great example in the portfolio book is a great case study, a guy called Feza, who's a real inspiration to many people. I mean, he's sort of probably mid to late 30s, achieved all sorts of things in his life, but also by his own admission has failed his way forward. But that's because, you know, he's tried stuff and it hasn't worked, so he's got it back up and again and tried something different. But he has been very big in the sort of network marketing field and also affiliate marketing and things like that. But then he decided, I think it was last year, that, you know, he has a real passion for horticulture, and he decided to go and study for his diploma or whatever it is in horticulture. And now he's actually doing and has been for the last year or so, regular gardening in his local area. And he's become really quite specialist at it. But he does that alongside the other stuff, which can all work and tick along in the background because he's getting a nice bit of passive income. Yeah, it's a real change because he was the guy who's, you know, sort of down the road of, you know, why would you swap your time for money? Now he's doing a bit of both. Yeah.
Excellent.
I've got a friend who's a photographer, and he has a 4-week holiday in the summer every year and goes somewhere really exotic. And what he does is he spends a lot of time building up his iStock photo, his Getty image portfolio. So he knows if he spends $5,000 on a 4-week holiday, that will be recouped in commission on photographs over the next 2 or 3 years. And then he's got a pension for the rest of his life. So he builds up his portfolio by using his holiday to take great photographs. He's been featured in, what's that, National Geographic. He was on the cover of National Geographic, one of his photographs.
Wow.
Photographer. So he's using his skill as a photographer, banking it by filling up his portfolio of Getty images. And now the pressure's now off him because he's got that banking income.
Yeah, brilliant.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow.
love that.
Which is what
So,
you probably find if you write a book or you've got a. So I'm doing some content with some online learning people. So with a bit of luck, I'll get some background income of commission on these learning modules that I'm producing. So
Yeah,
just keep
yeah,
doing this.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
keep getting little bits of income, as you say, here, there, and everywhere.
yeah.
it's brilliant. Yeah. So having said that, we've given a few great examples as well for people who would really practically want to delve into this, they could do, right? So on a closing note, because I'm mindful of the time, on a closing note, what are the absolute don't do's for people? So Jo, starting with you, what are a couple absolutely don't do when venturing into this?
I think you've got to have a stability. You've got to have a stable footing. So if you can't afford to risk
Hmm.
your income, then you've got to think carefully. Don't think I'm going to jump ship and then figure it out, because the pipeline is it's going to take you 3 months to get your first invoice paid. By the time you've done the work, invoiced it, and got paid,
Yeah.
and got you always got to work on a 3 month window. So get your financial stability right, and don't do it to fix a problem. Do it to create opportunity, not to fix something that's going wrong already. The grass isn't greener; it's just grass, and it's different.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, Jo. Steve, what about you? What is an absolute don't do?
Well, I think one of the biggest don't do's, which is a huge mistake a lot of people make when they suddenly decide to jump into this portfolio type of career, is they try to do too many things at the outset. And it's best to just start with one. Well, let's say the anchor income plus something else maybe, and then gradually develop other strands alongside as and when needed, or as things evolve.
Yeah.
But I've seen people who think, right, they go from one extreme to the other. I've had a day job where I do X, and now they're trying to do A plus B plus C plus D, and all that, so they get complete overwhelm.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think two things that I take away from this is find affordability and be realistic about it, right, Jo? And the second thing is don't take on the world, don't do everything together. Portfolio careers do take time to build, and both of you have very successfully done that over a period of years, right? It's not just happened overnight. I think people see it as success overnight often, however, it is tons of years of work that's gone in. So on a closing note, thank you both very much for your time. This has been fantastic discussion. I am going to be publishing this video with your social media details as well. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you, they can do. And next month, we're going to be talking about IR35. So we'll have some more contractors, interims, and even IR35 expert on the call. So for everyone else who's watching us, feel free to like, share, follow to get the updates from Interim Market. Thank you.
Thanks, Vivi.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye.